The day I realized my fiction book was nonfiction. I used to have this dream since I was 7 years old, all the way up until the day I wrote this book. I went on a camping ground in 2019, and that inspired me to write my first book in 2020. If you don't believe me, just listen to this.
African Americans or blacks.
They used to eat us.
Really?
Wait, what? Eat?
African Americans were eaten. Do they not teach this? They were eaten.
Whoa.
Turned
You think
into
there was
furniture?
widespread cannibalism in the United States in like
This was with a specific lady in New Orleans.
Mia starts to scan the room, seeing nothing but antique wallpaper and furniture until directing her attention to the kitchen area. She sees the little old lady from the store standing next to the stove. "Hi," she says with a grin on her face. Mia doesn't say anything, just starts to stare at the spoon the old lady laid on the hot stove. Still smiling, she walked over to Porsche and places the spoon on her forehead. Portia wakes up with now a burn mark on her forehead. The little old lady, rise and shine. Porsche and Mia stare at each other. "You will not get out." As if she already knows what they're thinking, the little old lady turns heading back into the kitchen. "Are you girls hungry? I made brownies." Turning to the girls, "I topped them with real brown skin, my secret ingredient. It's actually the town's favorite."
Used to skin us
used
and
to
make leather
skin
out
us
of it.
and make
Like,
leather.
why is that even a question?
I think he's saying because you're only pointing to
You
like
think-
one example.
You're like, it's not one example.
1837. They continue on the path now, seeing the KKK graffiti, rebel flags, and dead bodies hanging from the trees with tags on their feet. The policemen walked up slowly to read the tags while having to hold their jackets over their faces from the smell. They now see that the tags read names of the people who killed them and what was done to them. On the other side of the tag, all read best artwork followed by the dates it happened, which all read 5 months ago. Another police officer notices that the bodies are not hanging by the necks, they're hanging from their arms and legs, as if they were placed there as some type of showcase or artwork. The police goes further into the trees where the bodies were hanging and sees bulldozers with skeleton bones still inside of the push frames.
And if you still don't believe me, listen to this woman.
Portuguese slave ship, the Aragante, the captain killed an enslaved man, cooked him, and made the other enslaved people eat him. And the crew ate the organs. In 1831, after Nat Turner's rebellion, they desecrated his body after his execution, and then some sources state that they boiled down his body to a medicinal substance for white people to consume as an act of final triumph. Vincent Woodward has a whole book about the incidents of this happening, the consumption of black bodies, not just literally, but physically, intimately. It's well documented. And within that book, there's another slave owner, a Kentucky man, who butchers and cooks an enslaved person in front of other enslaved people as a form of psychological terror. And then in 1888, the Mercury in Philadelphia releases an expose exposing white doctors who are tanning the skin of black people to make shoes and cigar boxes. One of the physicians was quoted as saying that black skin makes a specifically enduring leather. There was also cases in Mississippi of them making belts and purses and things from black skin. They also used black babies as alligator bait. That's documented in multiple sources. They thought it was so hysterical they made postcards about it. Would use them as bait to hunt alligators, or would just feed them to alligators. If you really want to go for a wild ride and you can stomach the truth, Thomas Thistlewood's diaries, called the Thomas Thistlewood Papers or the Thistlewood Papers, the slave owner himself kept a documented, detailed diary of all of the torture he inflicted on his slaves, including 3,800 cases plus of SA against black women, probably one of the most common crimes across the slave trade against black women. And he also invented what was called the Derby's dose, where he would flog a slave and then rub pickle juice or lime juice into their skin and then make another enslaved person defecate in their mouth. Typically, those kind of infractions would be eating a piece of sugar cane because they were hungry. And no, Miss Ma'am, you don't know who you're talking about. Madame Lalaurie did not eat her slaves. What she did do is chain them up with iron collars where she tortured, mutilated them, peeled their skin into strange shapes, and then murdered them. Just because you people are not educated enough to know what actually happened and you don't want to believe it because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Everything that this woman is saying, I dreamed this since I was 7 years old, and I finally wrote it in a book in 2020 when I went to this campground in 2019 in Ocala, Florida. And everything went crazy since then. I took the book back down. It's been plants by my mom's house. Police get called. Police come with camera crews and this, that, and the third. It was all just weird. It was weird things happening. I took the book down, and when I put my book back up, this video resurfaced itself. And it's just a reminder that things like this is still happening now today, and we need to be careful and aware. I used to think they was trying to bury my book because it's such a badass part of history. But no, I think they're trying to bury my book because it's very much so still alive. Y'all stay woke. Keep me in your prayers.